I'm Gary Worthington from Destin, Florida, and today I'm going to show you how to make $16 in 5 minutes or less. What we've got here is a baseball design. That's a stencil I made out of Mylar on a plotter at my shop. I'm going to spray it down with a little bit of glue, position it on the shirt, right where I want it. I'm going to pick up Wicked Dark Blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge of this design with this dark blue. Not really worried about any overspray into the stitches. I'm using Wicked colors today. Can't say enough good about these colors. It really is the best paint out there, bar none. You notice how well it flows out of my airbrush, how clean it looks. These guys have really done their homework. They've really tested this paint out. They've sent it out to a lot of the industry's top people to test and brought it to market really working well. Okay, I got that pretty dark. I'm going to pick up a popsicle stick. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to stipple the background. That's kind of a term that Cass Fuller and Terry Hill came up with for this technique. And you just aim the airbrush at the tip of the popsicle stick or clothespin or anything like that. And the paint reflects off of it in a kind of a granite, dotted pattern like this. Okay? This is an easy background. It's kind of a go-to background where I'm from for a lot of designs. We put it on a lot of things because it's fast, it's easy, we all like it. Now I'm going to pick up my Wicked Red and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to lay in my stitches. Now I realize that I have a lot of stippling in some of the stitches around the edge. I'm not worried about that. Got some blue overspray. All that's going to do is add to the shadow of the ball. And this Wicked Red is so powerful that it really pumps right over the top of those. You'll notice too, I went around the ball 2 or 3 times with that blue. And what I'm doing there is saturating. That's really important if you want to get return customers because it really makes a big difference on how well the shirt washes and also makes it look like $1,000,000 when you get done with it. I get a lot of business in my shop just from people wearing their shirts around the beach, just because they look so good. I had somebody come in this past year, and Eddie and I had done some hats for them, and I had 2 or 3 return customers just from those guys wearing those hats down the beach. Now I'm going to pick up my Wicked Caribbean Blue. I'm going to kind of use my air just a bit to dry that. Then I'm going to come in here and kind of connect these stitches. I designed this baseball in a program called Sign Lab, and I cut it on a plotter. That's a program and a method that Terry Hill turned me on to when we were working at Walmart together. Now I'm going to use that same light blue to shade the bottom of this ball. And I'm going to come in with my Wicked Black. And I'm going to accentuate the bottom of that ball just a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is really one of the steps that I do that a lot of people might skip, and this really adds to this design. And I'm going to come in right there where the holes for those stitches would be, and I'm just going to add a little bit of Wicked Black. A lot of people would skip this just because it adds time, because time is money, and the faster you can do a design, the more designs you can take in. I've had plenty of days in my shop where I wasn't able to take everything that came in. I had to turn people down. I had to say, I'm so backed up that I can't take you on today. And that was disappointing for people, and it was disappointing for me because I had to turn down money. And one way you can counteract that, like after that day, I went and I took kind of a look back at my display to see where I could trim the fat, where I had designs that might have been popular, but they were taking me too long to do. They were holding me up. And I replaced them with a simplified version of that, and then it really streamlined things and made things a lot better. What I've done there is I've completed the dots, and you can tell that that adds a lot of realism to the ball. And I also lightly shaded with that black down that center line because it's a little darker. Okay, now I'm going to come in with Wicked Blue, which is their medium blue color. It's a phthalo blue. And I'm just going to bridge that transition a little bit. You notice how when making this shadow, I'm staying off the edge. I'm keeping a little light down there so that it looks right. You don't want to get too terribly dark with this. Now I want to put a name on this design. I'm going to give you kind of a hint about color usage on names and things like that. This is a baseball, so we figure America's pastime, so red, white, and blue. And that kind of goes with the color scheme we've got here. If I wanted to put a red and blue name up here, I have to be careful because red and blue, if they touch each other, make kind of a brown muddy color. And what I've got to do is I've got to figure out a way to do that name without them touching each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the name in blue, and then I'm going to put a wrap on it in red that doesn't touch the name. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to do a freehand one-stroke name, and I call that a one-stroke name because I only did it in one stroke. I didn't come back and add to it. I didn't come back and touch it up. Now I'm going to take my Wicked Red, come around, do a loose wrap on that. I wrote that name in Wicked Dark Blue, by the way. Open up some of these holes. And you'll notice that I kept those two colors off of each other. If you want to know more about that kind of theory and how I do things like that, check out my Airbrush Lettering Bootcamp video from Airbrush Action. It's really good, and it'll give you a lot of hints like that. This design, you saw how quick I did it, and like I said, I sell it for $16 in my shop, and I usually get at least 1 to 5 of these a day, every day throughout the summer. If you want to learn more about t-shirt airbrushing or airbrushing in general, check out Airbrush Action magazine or attend one of the Airbrush Getaway workshops. Thanks for watching.